This is Lee Altus from Exodus.
Thank you so much for joining me amidst all the chaos here at Rock on the Range.
It's pretty crazy here.
How are you enjoying it so far, kind of away from this?
It's awesome. I mean, we've been on tour like with Slayer, and this is like the final date, so looking forward to it. I wish, it wasn't raining.
I know.
It's like 100 degrees at home. We're not used to this.
That's like definitely a big change up. So what can we be expecting from the set tonight?
Short and sweet, only got half an hour, so, we're just going to pack all the classics in and, just kind of go through them,
I was going to ask how hard it is for you guys to craft a set list. I mean, you're working on what? Is 11th album now?
Yeah, there's a lot of arguments. Everybody's got their own set list preferences, so, but we're just kind of stick, with what people would think people want to hear mostly, you know what I mean? Just, like I said, mostly the classics, and I mean, we want to play newer stuff because it's more interesting to us, but people want to hear the old stuff, so.
I can imagine, like, over the years that, like, after it's like the same songs each night, that you guys would definitely want to get fresh material out there. Are you incorporating any new stuff into the set?
Not tonight, It's like, I mean, we're almost done with the new album, so hopefully next time around,
I was going to ask, can you take me in the studio for the album and tell me kind of what the mindset was like for one or two tracks in particular?
It was kind of funny because we actually did it different this time around. Like, Tom lives at this goat ranch in California, and we just kind of set up headquarters there, and and it's like secluded in the mountains, and we just got in there, and just kind of like cut the rest of the world, from ourselves, and and start writing and recording, and so it's kind of interesting, not being like in the traditional studio, so to speak.
I was going to ask how much the atmosphere could play a role like that. Like, I mean, I'm sure it's, like you said, it's got to change the mindset to be able to relax and kind of be in that headspace versus amidst all the chaos.
Yeah, it's just different, like I said, I mean, you go from like the corporate studio into like the wilderness, So, I mean, it's nice. I mean, it's kind of changed the pace, like, I mean, we've all done so many albums in like that traditional kind of studio environment, This is like a nice change,
I mean, being that the first album came out, was it 1985? Like, how do you feel about the band's legacy to this point?
Was it 85? It seems like it was 1885. No, I mean, it's nice. It's been like going through ups and downs, It's like you start out and, thrash metal was all, really kind of hip and in back then. And then it went through the grunge era to where nobody wanted to hear it. And then it kind of made a comeback again, where everybody wants to hear it. So it's been a roller coaster ride, kind of.
How do you feel about all the new genres of metal that we have out? I mean, I hate boxing an artist in one thing or another. I'm like, yeah, rock is rock, and like it is what it is. But I feel like a lot of times they pressure us to go, you have to be one thing or another, and I hate that.
Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, I can't keep up, emo, screamo, this, that. I'm like, it's all metal. I mean, I basically go by, I listen to a band, and I don't care what genre they're at. It's either I like them or I don't, you know what I mean? It doesn't really matter to me, but yeah, it's sad that people kind of like try to get themselves into like, their groups of like, oh, you have to look certain way if you listen to this kind of music. It's like, there's enough out there as it is. It's like, I think all the like people that, you play like rock, heavy music, we all should kind of unite, I mean, it's like the rest of the world is already against us. There's no reason to kind of like separate yourselves, into like little tribes within the, this community.
Absolutely. That's what annoys me the most about it.
I totally agree. Yeah, it always annoyed me too. It's, and then like like people say, oh, thrash metal is supposed to be this way or that way. It's like, it's all heavy music. It is whatever it is. I mean, you know, it started out playing metal is because it was like this total freedom. You can do anything you want. And all of a sudden, like what we call the metal police, you know, usually it's the younger guys, you know, that they didn't grow up and they don't understand, and they just think that it's supposed to be only this way. You know, and we're like, no. When we started out, that was the appeal, that we had a freedom to do like something different, and it was no limits to what we wanted to do.
I feel like, you know, sound is always going to adapt, and music is always going to adapt. I mean, as the industry changes, and that's going to change, and some people just absolutely refuse to accept that.
Yeah, people just hate change. I mean, I've learned that over the years. Every album, you know, if you try to make it a little bit different, and you don't even try, it's kind of like a natural progression, you know. There's no reason to repeat the same album over and over. I mean, people like say, well, it doesn't sound like Bonded by Blood. Well, because it's not 1985, and, you know, we're not 22, and, you know, it's just different, you know. So of course it's going to be different, but it's not like we changed and all of a sudden became a jazz band or something to it, you know. We're still playing metal. We're still, you know, do what we do. So I don't know what the complaints are all about. But yeah, I've learned that over the years. Every album, somebody will find something wrong with it. And, you know, in the younger days, it used to bother me a lot more because you kind of like want to please everybody. And over the years, I've learned just like you just can't please everybody. You know, you just kind of got to go with it. It's like, oh, hopefully you like the next album.
Absolutely. So, I mean, we've seen so many changes in the industry, probably the biggest one being social media. How have you guys, like, witnessed that? I mean, now, looking out from the stage, you see a sea of cell phones instead of a sea of lighters. It's a very interesting transition.
Oh, tell me, well, we can't keep up. I mean, honestly, Tom, you know, our drummer, just got his first iPhone. He had the flip phone, you know, like we always used to make fun of.
It's like a relic.
It really is. I think he needs to frame that, you know. Yeah, I mean, it's hard for us to keep up, you know, because it's like it's moving so fast. You know, if you like really look back in the last 20, 30 years, I mean, that just happened overnight, you know. It's like for younger bands, I mean, they adopt really, you know, really easy. For us, the old dinosaurs, we're like, what else do we have to learn, you know? It's so
funny because I almost forget, like, you know, whether bands, you know, sent smoke signals or something to tell fans they were in town, and now it's like one post on social media, and it's...
I mean, it has its, you know, like pluses and minuses, you know. It's like with all that, I mean, the internet now, everybody's a critic, you know, so everybody needs to be heard, and everybody, you know, you log on and people just kind of criticizing you over the internet, and you kind of, you know, you got to have thick skin nowadays, you know, for that, but you got to realize that it's just one person and just one guy or one girl, whatever, you know. But yeah, that's definitely gave, like, everybody's a critic. You know, everybody has a voice.
From their bedroom computer.
Exactly, yeah.
So what is you guys have a target release date for the new album?
Yeah, the end of September, beginning of October, hopefully. You know, if we're done by middle of June, then yeah, it's going to be September, the end of September, beginning of October.
We're definitely looking forward to it. I want to thank you so much for taking a few minutes to speak with me. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
It's awesome.